Hi there, welcome to Carcassonne with Itze and a double header, but I'll only cover Latvia, Taiwan. Maybe if this one goes pretty fast, a bit of Chile, Greece in the end. So for now, let's have a look at Chile, Greece. This one is covered by Nallerheim, so if you expected me to show them, maybe hop over there. This should be a fairly interesting match. I would expect the Chileans to take this one. The only Greek-eyed favor on their table would be former two-time world champion Pantelis, aka Dark Passenger 84. At all other tables, I'd favor Chile. So I think a 3-2, maybe even a 4-1 in Chile's favor would be the expected outcome. And then we're having the match I will cover. It's Group G's Latvia versus Taiwan. After getting dropped by Croatia quite severely with 0-5 and I think only 2 game wins, the Latvians really need to win this one, and maybe even a 3-2 won't be enough here because they need to get better tiebreakers, and if they don't, there's not much they can do in this group unless they win both their remaining games versus Croatia and Belgium. So preferably a 4-1 today would be great for them, but of course Taiwan wants to win as well. They managed to win their first game versus Belgium, if I remember correctly. So whoever of these two will manage to dispatch the other today has a great chance, or in case of Latvia, at least a better chance to reaching the playoffs than now. In their last match versus Croatia, the Latvians were the favorites on almost all tables. This isn't the case today, so especially the first 3 tables, I'd definitely favor Taiwan. Even though Napalm I should be able to upset Miss Penguin, but he has to play his A game today, else there's no chance he'll win this one. And on tables 4 and 5, well, normally you'd expect the Latvians to be the favorites here, but, well, doesn't help you being the favorite. You could still lose, although I don't see Alexei losing versus Sakura Kim versus Croatia. Alexei played against Vega Orion, and that's, at least in my book, a stronger player than Sakura Kim. But we'll see about that. For now, if no one minds or has any other ideas, I'd like to cover table 2 and check if Napalm Eye is able oh, sorry, I don't think the sentence was at the end. Check if Napalm Eye is able to play their A game versus Engine EM and maybe even win that one. The Latvians are the home team in this match, so they are the ones donning the yellow shirts here. At least they should be. And something doesn't work, so I have to manually... Oh, I know what's up. Well, that's fixed easily. Just have to load this in one of these windows as well, and now colors should be set automatically. Okay, so Miss Penguin am threatening to get an 8-point city to start, but at least Napalm I got the first points and the first monastery. Now hoping to kill this square and then win this mini battle with +5 points in the end. Oh, but he opts to attack this city. I'm not sure that's actually really that necessary. Maybe just waiting for better piece to block this square. Because this way you also indirectly protected this here. Because you've limited your options to go here, and that way blue could just easily put this Dorito there. Now Miss Penguin gets the first points on the scoreboard, takes the lead A2. And her next project might be to attack or better block this square. Let's see if she prioritizes this or if she just does something else with the rows. Could opt to just score points at the bottom and at the cap to the right, but I think a more aggressive approach here would work out well. There is an dagger asymmetry. Yeah, with 2 horses already gone, going with the cap this or that way would be too risky, because then yellow would likely do this and you'd have 2 meeples trapped. Hi Glovia. So this works, this orientation works better for her. Now it's just a flip for the next curvy tile. Blue, of course, would kill this, and yellow would add this to then take a 4-point road with the next Rotorito. Yellow is a tad more likely to resolve this situation in their favor, because all 5 Rotoritos are still in deck and blue can't block with them. And in some cases, maybe Napalm I would even consider adding the horse here just to snatch the 3 points and still being able to liberate their monastery meeple. But alas for yellow, blue got the monastery, decided just to take the 2 points to have a meeple majority, quite likely until the end of the game, because yellow's meeple on the right side is endangered as well. might be now even killed with blue's next move. And then it would be pretty tough for yellow to win this, being down 2 meeples. So pretty blocky game here. No great options for yellow to use the Dorito right now. Maybe just going over here and trying to kill this, even though you'd only have the 3 meeples in hand to score other features than later in the game, but at least winning a mini battle here would be great for them. So this way, because this here even then blue might attack this and might go for the 50, although I'd say she wouldn't. But yellow just opens a new city. Definitely not the worst move in this case. Wouldn't have done really a lot here to help them meeples. Maybe putting the Dorito there to create a monastery spot, which could later then be used by them. But, well, considering your monastery is already blocked, I'd say blue would have used this monastery spot as well. So going over here is definitely fine. But now this here, or do you go for the 8-pointer? Yep. This move definitely works well because this kills this option for blue. The only problem is that you need rather specific tiles to liberate this monastery, and especially the Doritos you'd rather use on your city at the bottom. So I think she thought about going here and even meepling the city to have a large feature to dump city pieces you wouldn't use elsewhere and at least profit a bit once yellow liberates their monastery. With 4 meeples in hand, you could have gone for it. But in the long run, well, if she gets better features with her meeples, that's okay as well. Considering 5 of the big tiles are already gone, this city would be rather tricky to close because the normal way of adding Doritos left and right and then adding big city tiles in the middle was quite unlikely, and wasting city caps or more Doritos on this, well, they are better used elsewhere, I guess. Well, Lovia thinks otherwise. I see her point, but I think you should be rather cautious because all these meeples in your hand don't do nothing for you if you can't score features with them. And this here was at least one with potential. And this looks like pretty blocky affair. 7 city caps already gone. There is really no field to talk about. And right now, yellow is ahead, even if it's only slightly. But there are still 3 monasteries in the deck and a lot of city pieces. Not even half the shielded ones are gone, so all's possible for blue here. And in the long run, she has to win this one with 2 meeples more in hand and threatening to block another of yellow's meeples. 3 starting tiles already gone, so any road piece with field on the right side would limit this city to a 50-50. And in that case, even if yellow were to get the starting tile, this would at least create an attacking option or blocking option for blue then. So, well, now yellow threatens to block blue's road, because this square would be dead, as both road monasteries are already gone. Nonetheless, blue decides to kill this option, and I think that's the correct move here, because more or less all you need to do is limit yellow's options as best as you can, and then with more than half the deck still remaining, just score roughly 20 points to win this one here. So I don't see great chances for yellow here. Let's take a look at the other games. They are already near the end. And it looks like most of them should be fairly close. Looks like Cheng Feng Tsai has the upper hand versus Mr. Numbers, even though only slightly, and there's still this city for yellow. Meanwhile, yellow expanded their city, hopes to draw the starting tile, of course, to close this one. Blue snatches a road here after this move, which quite likely was an indirect defense by blue. And again, blue doesn't protect their road this time, because they'd create a 9-point monastery spot, and you'd rather prevent this if your opponent only has 1 meeple in hand. You don't want to give them any easy points here, so blocking anything is of utmost importance. But there are still caps for yellow to liberate a city here. 2 roses, 2 daggers, And else there are still rotoritos out there, so they even could extend this one and then close it with any city cap. Tricky piece for yellow, because you can't really add your meeple to city cap right now. Going for this block, definitely a nice idea. Blue could only indirectly defend, but this really doesn't do well, it does do quite a lot. At least no big city tile apart from the car would fit there. But blue now takes a leap. Big risk for them. This could have been instantly blocked. But I guess they realized they need to score here. Because yellow's cities are quite threatening. But still, these three here are under attack and quite liable to be blocked. If it weren't for yellow getting the worst possible tile for them. Yeah. And on table 3, Mr. Numbers eked out a win in the end. 3 points. And because they got quite likely the last Dorito to close their city, which not only added the city points, but a +3 field points for them. These two were tied. So in here, blue continued their city, but gets blocked. So this is quite unlikely to close, even though the quadruple city is still out there. Yellow managed to block blue's 2 meeples up top as well. And now kills this one. And then we might actually have to count. Alexei wins his first game versus Sakurkim quite decisively. Yellow City was blocked as well. Yep, Gloria talks about this move. Blue put it there in the hope of getting a Dorito and not getting obstructed by any city piece from the bottom. If they would have just placed the horse this way, then there would have been, I think, 3 Rotoritos still out there to close their city. So the greed of adding these 4 and these 2 points to the city, so +6, turned an M here. And now it looks like they might even waste this. But this city looks pretty good. And now yellow. Oh, holy. A misclick. Definitely a misclick. Yeah. That's a shame. Let's see if... Nope. Doesn't went. Maybe his mouse took a flying lesson. And this is then game over. These 4 points and quite likely a few more. And this still could have been close maybe. But now there's no use in counting this. So Penguin will win this one. At least one good news for Taiwan here after losing 2 games on the other tables. Krishna hotly has ended as well, and this looks like it will be in hotly's favor. Ooh, but ever so close. A tie. And because Krishna was the starting player, hotly wins the first game in their duel. So for now, let's hop to only Denver and Stephen Chung to take a look at their endgame. Well, the most prominent feature is the huge field in the middle, which is tight right now. And then there is this city at the bottom, but yellow getting one of the horses isn't great news for blue, but at least they get the last one to snatch this ruin. Now this looks like a blue win. Unless yellow somehow manages to still win the field, but not the cow in hand. Because both road monasteries are gone, and then I don't see any other chance to attack this field with the cow. And only one move remaining afterwards. So more or less the expected close game. Unless my gut feeling here is wrong. So let's go back to Napalm Eye and Penguin EM. Yep, Stephen Chang won with 11 points difference. So let's see if Napalm Eye will stick to his plan from the first game. Me playing quite aggressively. I'm not shying from using most his meeples in the early game. So this one here, 39 to 65. Well, this will straightly go to the curiosities. I wouldn't expect anyone to score less than these 39 points in the whole tournament. And even the winning score of 65 would quite likely have a chance to be the lowest winning score as well. So, as I said, aggressively using meeples, aggressively scoring features, any road here, and you need one of the daggers, and of course blue would try to kill this, and you couldn't even connect to blue's city unless you'd resolved the dagger situation beforehand. This is the other orientation, but a devastating move nonetheless, because this blocks yellow's 2-point road to 50-50. At least they could snatch another one. Ooh. They even go for the 2 points, so volatility it is. Just hoping to get the next road piece before blue does. And it works. But I'm not sure that's actually the right move here. Even though you would have limited your monastery to a 50-50 because this was already the second horse. You are the party with the open side of this city/ruin, and snatching a 5-point road before your opponent does is a 10-point swing. So I think going over here and just taking this road would have been arguably the better move than this one. Napalm, I could go over here and meeple this, then hoping to get to the Doritos. But quite a lot of Doritos are already gone. So 3 of the road Doritos and 3 of the field Doritos. Both splitters at least are out of the game, so blue couldn't really defend here. And at least if you don't get Dorito, or maybe big city tile could be considered as well. Well, if you don't get one of these pieces fast, at least you could close this city then and take the 4 points, and you wouldn't leave any empty city caps on here. But then you have this city up top, which is vulnerable. But what you do about this? If you'd go here, then block from the left side would be quite likely. Actually, you wouldn't even care about that. There are still all 3 daggers left. And he goes for the rather aggressive approach. I can only applaud here. This is actually nice content. Yellow liberates 1 monastery, meeples the farm, which has potential. due to blue city and this configuration at the bottom. So even if they'd have to close their city and not attack the larger one, then they at least could extend their farm and add 2 cities to it. Now yellow has to answer this question. Do you close your city? Only 1 meeple in hand. This is the chicken way, of course, but it might be the sane move. Because if blue were able to obstruct from the right side of the road, this would make resolving this situation in your favor with both road Doritos really unlikely. And that's exactly why yellow closes this. Takes their meeple home, adds a city to their field. That's quite okay. Now they take this one. And I think blue would have done the same if it weren't for getting a cow. So they were unable to take this city. But I wanted to say if they close this city, they for sure will attack. Quite wisely, yellow prevents this. Now gets to close this city and definitely won't add anything here unless blue threatens one of the fields. Then they might connect. But for now, scoring these 2 cities on both fields works nicely for yellow, and I'm not even sure this move by blue was a good one, because if yellow manages to block this square, it's more or less divide and conquer here. Then they'd have 2 fields worth 12 points, and I don't see blue winning both of them. But if yellow connects, well, then blue would need to add 2 farmers here, which could be tricky. One prime attacking option, of course, is at the top. And Miss Penguin might even go for that now. Instead, she just scores these points. Maybe she hopes to get a fieldless win. So if the connection would be successfully executed here, then yellow's field would be worth only 18 points. But blue's features don't really score that 18 points if you deduct yellow's monastery and their ruins / city parts. If I'm not mistaken, there's still one starting tile out there. So yellow quite likely should close this city and then hope to win this 50-50 flip. And with it, not only close the city, but snatch a 6-point field as well. So if yellow gets the starting tile, this could already be game over. Good news for Latvia. On table 3, missed the numbers, just won their second game versus Chengfeng Tsai. I'd consider this a slight upset, but only slightly so. So Latvia takes the lead in this match. And napalm might be adding a third farmer sometime down the road just to secure the field, which, if united over here, would then be worth 21 points now that blue closed their city on the left side. Yeah, same config again. Blue has a meeple on a city cap. Yellow adds a simple road piece just to prevent any field attack. And Miss Penguin would now go over here and meeple this, but this would be rather reckless. Although, yeah, well, with 2 crossroads out there, this would be reckless. Else, going here, putting this straight to the bottom would be a nice idea, because the only piece to defend, to kill this, would be then the crossroad, because the curve, either left or right orientation, would connect. And it's quite tricky on Napalm Eye to block this. One of the field Doritos would work, but they are gone, so the last cow would be the best option to kill this attacking route. Meanwhile, blue connected up top. Took a road. Well, the road has, or rather the monastery has, another upside for blue. It opens up possible attacking routes from the right side. But taking the road, if all 3 roses are gone, that's a bit problematic, I think, because you only have 1 meeple in hand then, and you need this one to attack the field or fields. Your monastery won't be liberated soon. Your city, well, this might still work. There are still 2 vanilla caps out there. And 1 left-handed dagger as well. But all the splitters are gone. Ooh. Yellow even creates another attacking option, and because they have 2 meeples in hand, that's actually, well, double-edged sword, but right now I think yellow is ahead. They are for sure ahead with the field, but I meant they would be ahead if the field were tied. Well, that's actually There's the scoring situation here. So blue has 11 points on the left side. This here scores another 3 for them. So 14, 18, 19 plus 4 on the scoreboard. 23, 26, 18. Okay, blue is ahead if the field would be tied. Rather, would be ahead if the field were tied. Yeah, go for it. What's there to think about now? Go for it. Take your supermajority on the field. Then you are guaranteed to win the field. And with this, I think the game as well. And then it's off to a decider. Yeah, he even gets too close to the city and takes, as mentioned earlier, the 6-point field. So this game is over. Looks like Alexei is thinking a long time and only has 3 minutes on his clock. So this game should be a close affair. And it really looks that way. So with still 6 minutes to go, let's score this one here. Blue has a monastery with 7 points, so road piece, city piece next to it, 3 points for road piece. The field at the bottom is tied. Blue's ruin at the bottom is worth 6 points. They have a 6-point scoreboard lead. And the field at the top is right now tied as well. Alexei has monasteries worth 8 and 7 points. Dead road and ruin worth 3 points each. And the ruin on the bottom left is worth 10 points. Okay, so he's ahead by 8 points. Both have no meeples in hand, and both road monasteries are gone. So if there's still a curve, blue would snatch the lead from Alexei by taking over this 9-point field. And then you know what we should be doing. Well, this was the last curve, so this is dead, and this move quite likely was only played by Alexei to maybe induce a mistake by blue here. But in the end, Alexei takes the second duel win for Latvia. Bad news though on table 3. Krishna just lost their second game versus Hotly. So it's 2-1 in Latvia's favor. Let's check if Napalm Eye and Penguin MF started their decider, and they haven't. So for now, let's watch the end game of only Denver and Stephen Chung. And meanwhile, let's check a look at Chile, Greece, and that looks to be a close affair as well. So we might even get to see a bit from that match in the end. So now that I have the scoreboard on screen, let's use it. Blue has a 7-point monastery on the left side. The field there is tied. The field up top is blue's one, and it quite likely should stay that way. So for now, 18 blue points. The yellow monasteries score 8 points each. The road is worth 3 points, and blue's ruin, I'd say, even though in theory this could still be completed if all the tiles were still there. The moves would be sufficient. 12 points for blue anyway, and scoreboard lead 6 points, so doesn't look good for Latvia. Looks like Stephen Chung will win this one. Most crucial piece is this here, and I'd say yellow has only a chance if they'd get this, and because this would unite both fields, then take over, or at least by the main field. No, they need to take this over, I think. Well, let's check the straights. If there's no straight left, this game is over. Yep, okay. Then this will be blue's win, and I don't think we need to bother to watch this. Yeah, yellow even put their last meeple on a road here. That really won't do a lot of good, even though they of course could snatch these 4 points on their next move. Then once Stephen Chung ends their game versus only Denver, as you've seen, quite likely successfully, this match will be tied at 2 dual wins apiece, and therefore we are having ourselves a decider in the duel between a Napalm Eye versus Penguin, and not just for the duel but for the match as well. Hi Alexi. Over here, meepling the farm. Yep. You could either take this, block this square, whatever works, but now yellow might just defend this and hope to get a Dorito before blue gets a splitter. And this will be a field fight until the end, quite likely. If blue manages to close this early city and add more monasteries here, well, my best guess would be that yellow needs to win the field in the end. Yeah, perfect piece for blue here. And Napalm Eye will likely complicate closing the city, even though this features a shield, and well, that's then always the case. Do you do this? Do you don't? And he goes for the simple 2 points, which also kills this connection route, and he might then... Or did blue just hope to kill one of these squares to split the field along this line? Interesting configuration here. At least yellow gets the first monastery to snatch the best spot from blue. And blue now prepares to draw the next one, but it's in yellow's hands as well. Finally, someone who just doesn't think about it, just meeples their monasteries, even though there could be harassment incoming. Still 3 starting tiles out there, no problem at all. Although not at all, you have this road. Now blue might even consider this here. And then hope to get a city piece from the right side. So in the end, Stephen Chang won with 25 points. I guess after the last trade was gone, a rather easy win for them. Yeah, let's hope for Napalm this situation gets resolved in their favor, else will be tricky here. Actually don't like this monastery. This takes quite a lot of options away from you. Yeah, perfect piece for yellow. Getting to liberate their road, and then there's actually no way of obstructing this here. There are still straights, crossroads, starting tiles out there. So best piece yellow could have gotten. Oh, as we have 4 empty spots here, why don't I load the still running fuels from Chile, Greece? Only 2. And HT Bry Mirror is 1 or 2 pieces before the end. Maybe some of you just witnessed the last piece there. So let's check if this was actually the decisive one. Yeah, so maybe I should have said something about spoilers, but well, here it goes. Mute me for a few seconds. Chile just won their game versus Greece, which is a nice development in Group D, because the Greeks won their first game versus UK. So it's as close as expected, with almost all teams being able to beat the others. But let's focus again on this game here. Right now, scoreboard tied. I think yellow closed this city at the bottom. The splitter was drawn here, and the big field is blue's one. Best news for yellow is that it's more or less impossible to connect over here. The only way would be road shenanigans like this. Both road monasteries are gone, so no way to extend this here. And now we'll see what yellow will do about this, because these monasteries here won't win them the game. There's no way to add a third one there. And with any straight, the square would be killed, and with it, these 3 monastery meeples. Ooh. Yellow splits the fields. So gives up on these 15 points. Well, at least their monasteries almost score as much. So if yellow manages to win the field on the left side, and they should be the favorite, giving the abundance of meeples in their hands. They should be able to eke out the win. Let's use the scoreboard. So blue has the 15-point field on the right side and a 5-point monastery. Yellow has a 6-point scoreboard lead for now, and 2 monasteries worth 7 points each. The field on the left is tied. Scoreboard lead reduced to 3 points, but monasteries now worth 8 points. But as I said earlier, now these meeples are all blocked because there's no road monastery left in the deck. And the field on the left side is worth 12 points for now, and quite likely will be the decisive feature here in this game. Sometime down the road, I would expect yellow to snatch this 6-point field, and depending on their preferences, maybe here to not allow a second farmer there, or maybe not to score both fields. Blue adds another point to the monastery. Yellow snatches the 3-point loop road at the bottom, and now another city up top, which immediately gets blocked by blue, and this way not only harasses the city but also blocks the field attack, which yellow quite likely had hoped for. Most interesting would have been a vanilla cap in blue's hands, because I would have liked to see if they would have closed yellow city just to attack here. Yellow kills blue city. All 3 daggers, left-handed daggers, are gone. There are still 2 splitters available, so if someone definitely needs to have a field attacking option, this would still work, but it would be rather a desperate approach. else. Some ninja up top, maybe. Yeah. A kingdom for curve might be yellow's fault now, but isn't to be. They just get it straight. And with only +4 and 25 tiles still remaining, it's still wide open. Yellow limits the expansion potential of Blue City, and just in time, because now this straight forced Blue to take the city below their monastery, and I'm not sure they would have done that if it weren't for this trade. So do you go here now, hoping to kill this square? There is still one field Dorito out there. Both splitters are gone. And there should still be one vanilla cap in the deck. So if yellow would limit this like this, well, then there would still be 2 pieces here to at least give blue a bit of hope to close their city. But of course, any road piece from the right side would kill this. For now, let's just add the 2 points of Blue City. Okay, expected 4. Yeah, Blue gets to defend and then still has a 50-50 shot, at least at closing their city on the top side. This square, on the other hand, well, there is one dagger still available. There is a rose still available. And it looks like even 2 starting tiles. So quite good chances for blue to at least close the city on the right side and then flip for the last vanilla cap. Yellow just polishes off this empty cap, even though well, there are enough caps out there, so this is okay. Yeah, blue would have really liked to take this, but can't. As I said, there's still one rose out there. The daggers are gone. We've counted them earlier, but there are still 2 Rotoritos out there. Excuse me for a second. I'm back. So yellow attacked the city, hoping to block this. But it wasn't to be. Blue just got a city cap and now The vanilla cap could be the decisive piece in this game. But even if blue were to get this, this would of course score them 11 points, 7 for the city, 3 for their field, and another one for the monastery. If yellow manages to close this one here, at least they could snatch the field from one side and they'd still have a chance. But Penguin gets one of the Doritos. I'm not sure about this curve here. So if I were in yellow's shoes, I might try to create an attacking option at the top field. Something over here, maybe here. The splitters are gone, so this option dead. And now this one is dead as well. Yellow takes another city cap. Another city, that is. And with the last vanilla, so blue city won't be completed. And that's actually great news for yellow. Now with 2 meeples in hand, I think they should take this one. There aren't many quick points features. Well, blue needs to get the next crossroad, or I think there's still one horse remaining. If there is, to snatch this road. Yellow might even take this one now. There are still 3 crossroads out there, plus the horse. So 4 out of 10 pieces would close this road. And if you don't take it, blue more or less has a 50 shot at taking these 4 points on their next move. So actually 45%, but still. But even if yellow doesn't go for this and then just, for example, takes the field now, they'd extend, this works as well, they'd extend their lead to 13 points and, well, oh no, not 13 points. I missed the account for this extension. So blue's field is worth 18 points now, as this was the 6th city. They could still hope to get the exact piece they had in hand. So 21 points now. And yellow's lead is only 7 points. But now grabbing this little curve, actually would have thought about this with 2 crossroads still remaining. Now blue just snatches the 4 points. Yellow just adds 1 point to the ruin. Blue snatches another 3 points. And yellow, with a sigh of relief, getting a curve to close their road. Well, it wasn't really risky because there were still the crossroads and at least this one curve out there. But not closing this one now would have hurt them quite badly. So napalm adding another 2 points to their city, and now quite likely they only need to execute their last move in the remaining 14 seconds. Four points, maybe here, no, yeah. And then yellow would need to score 2 points, which should be easy, no matter the piece in their hands. I hope my count is still accurate. It isn't, because blue's monastery scores 7 points now. So then blue takes 4 points. Let's add them here. Yellow would need to score 3 points, but that should be possible as well. So no big tiles out there, no crossroads, no monasteries. Well, now that I start to count. Yeah, that was a mistake by blue in the end, just taking... No, it wasn't a mistake. Going 4 points, it was. Didn't matter. So both scored 4 points on their last moves. So if my count was correct, then yellow should have won this by 2 points in the end. And with this, Latvia has won the match 3-2. And the count was accurate. Yeah, quite the close game. And this one here, one yellow. This game, this duel, and Latvia, the match. Yeah, Carcassonne coming down to a 50-50 flip in the end. Don't we know it all? And if yellow would have closed this road, or would have been able to close this road, I should say, I think it wouldn't have been that close, but blue did go for the block, and rightfully so, as the evidence on the scoreboard shows. Yeah, tough for Taiwan, but at least they managed to secure a good tiebreaker here. So let's take a look at the group situation. So this one was a 3 2 with game wins actually of 6-5. Well, great. But well, so Taiwan, 2 played, 1 match win. Same goes for Latvia. The dual wins are the one tiebreaker that really hurt the Latvians. So well, let me hazard a guess here. If they don't win both their matches versus Croatia and Belgium, I don't see them qualifying for the playoffs in this group. This 0-5 versus Croatia, tough pill to swallow. So, and the other game, let me check back. I think this was 4-1 in Chile's favor. The other match, I should say, yeah, this is 4-1 in the favor of the Chileans. And even Dark Passenger didn't win their game. So let's check their group. Yeah. Okay, Nico Wellemans, that is the captain of Team Belgium, just informed us all that Belgium-Latvia will take place next Thursday, or this Thursday, at 19:10 UTC, a rather specific starting time. Any reason for the 10 minutes past? So Chile, first game, first win, and this versus the Greeks, who did manage to dispatch UK. So quite a nice feat, and now, well, I think they should be considered favorites versus Colombia and of course versus Guatemala. So the Chileans, oh, have to check the pronunciation. At least they'll have a nice chance versus the UK to fight for the first place in this group, quite likely. And that's also good news for UK. If they manage to win versus Chile, they still have a good chance here to reach the playoffs. Let's take a quick look at the calendar and then I'll take a break here. So there's one game scheduled for later, and that's Mexico, Portugal. For now, my plan is to cover this. Let's check the lineup. Yeah, quite a few interesting duels there. I'd quite likely would focus on one of these two, but I'll have to chat with Alexi beforehand. As I already said many times, I'd like to prevent double streaming any duel here. And then in the middle of the European night, there's Vietnam, Argentina. Argentina definitely considered to be the favorites. The same goes for China in their match versus Australia. And tomorrow we have a bunch of matches. I'm likely to cover these 5, and considering their starting tiles, this could be, or rather needs to be, a marathon stream from 15 UTC more or less until 1930. So 4.5 hours. Maybe I'll take a break somewhere before Brazil, Spain, but we'll see about that. Subscribe, hit bell icons, whatever you want to do to get notified. Else check back on Carcassonne GG. All the streams are listed here on the right side. So thanks for tuning in. See you later tomorrow, someday. Bye bye.